find incredible deals on both new and used
Welcome,
tires.
welcome everyone.
Mike a call right now.
Make sure you subscribe and like the video.
9445 954 977 9445, and Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954 977 9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Oops, hit the wrong button. Where's it at? There we go. Hit the wrong button.
Seniors, Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your prescriptions are filled. They'll review your doctor's bills to make sure they are correct. If you're in the hospital and you need an advocate to get the care you need, I Will Advocates, they'll do that too. They'll handle your Medicare and Medicaid applications, and that's just the beginning.
I am getting so many text messages from people. Wesley, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Wesley for that super chat. Like these glasses? A listener gave them to me.
1214. Online, iwilladvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. At noon weekdays, turn your radio to Richard Pearl on politics.
That's right.
Unfiltered, unapologetic, always controversial. Richard Pearl tells it like it is. No topic is off limits. This is talk radio like it should be. You've known him as a master of nutraceuticals. Now, listen to Richard Pearl. You've never heard him before.
Yeah, these are awesome sunglasses,
High noon weekdays.
but I can't read with them. They're not reading glasses, unfortunately. You know, I don't know how much, say, the one that gave the money against Trump runs it. I'm not sure. All right, here we go. Make sure you like the video and share it. Jacqueline, $10 super sticker. Thank you. Everyone thank Jacqueline. All right, hour number 2 has begun. It is coming up on 4 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. And of course, this is the most important Steve Kane Show of the week, because this is not just our live morning drive edition this Friday morning. This is our overnight rebroadcast for the whole weekend. And just on our radio stations, not including iHeartRadio, TuneIn, my YouTube channel, SteveKaneShow.com, our radio station app, and all the other places that carry this program with and without our permissions, just on our radio stations, the Friday edition of the Steve Kane Show airs a total of 35 times before we return live to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we always want to make sure the Friday show is the best, but all the shows are great, right? All right, so I just started the YouTube Live back up. We were having some internet connectivity issues. If you want to comment on anything that I brought up in the first hour, you are most definitely welcome to do so. I brought up some pretty hot topics and subjects, and I was a little in a bit of a mood, and because of the internet connectivity issues, I went off on a bit of a rant. And I know many of you on hold, I didn't get to your calls. My apologies for that. But since I go screenless, I didn't want every call to be, why aren't you on YouTube? Why aren't you on YouTube? So that's one of the reasons I didn't take a lot of calls in the first hour. But you are welcome to call in now at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Okay, I was shocked yesterday. I'm going to play the audio in just a moment. It explains itself. I was shocked that Jeffrey Toobin was welcomed back to CNN. And I'll just give you a brief background, then play the exchange, which speaks for itself. Jeffrey Toobin has been a CNN legal analyst for a long, long time. He did write a book about the O.J. Simpson trial that was made into a hell of a good movie on FX, where Cuba Gooding Jr. played O.J. and was on about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was good. And I almost didn't watch it because I thought, and John Travolta played Robert Shapiro. It was so good. I almost didn't watch it because I said, you know what, I lived through that trial. It was very exciting. What am I going to see that's new? And I didn't miss a second of it. It's great. It might be, I'm sure it's on the streaming services. If you can, check it out. But he also worked at the New Yorker, and last year he was fired by the New Yorker, and I thought CNN, but apparently he was just on sabbatical with CNN. He was in a Zoom meeting with the New Yorker staff, and he says he thought his camera was off, and he started masturbating. I apologize, by the way, for people taking the kids to school. My apologies. Sorry, I would usually do the disclaimer and everything else for the people that have kids in the car on the way to school. My apologies, we're talking about CNN, I forgot. Anyway, Jeffrey Toobin started masturbating on this Zoom meeting with the New Yorker. In front of the New Yorker editorial staff made up of both men and women. So they fired him, then he was off the air at CNN. And shocker, I really mean I was shocked yesterday, he was reintroduced to CNN. So they bring him on with Allison Camerata, who used to be on Fox, and she's been on CNN for years now. And Allison Camerata did a segment with Jeffrey Toobin talking about his Zoom masturbation video scandal. Let me play this exchange. This is so weird. And then we'll talk about it, okay? So here's Jeffrey Toobin with Allison Camerata, CNN yesterday. This is CNN.
Let's bring in CNN Chief Legal Analyst Jeffrey Toobin to talk about this and more. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello, Allison.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, indeed.
I feel like we should address what's happened in the months since we've seen you, since some of our viewers may not know what has happened. So I guess I'll recap. I'll do the honors.
Help yourself.
Okay. In October, you were on a Zoom call with your colleagues from the New Yorker magazine. Everyone took a break for several minutes, during which time you were caught masturbating on camera. You were subsequently fired from that job after 27 years of working there. And you, since then, have been on leave from CNN. Do I have all that right?
You got it all right, sad to say.
Okay, so let's start there.
Okay.
To quote Jay Leno, what the hell were you thinking?
Well, obviously, I wasn't thinking very well or very much, and it was something that was inexplicable to me. I think one point, I wouldn't exactly say in my defense, because nothing is really in my defense. I didn't think I was on the call. I didn't think other people could see me.
You thought that you had turned off your camera?
Correct. I thought that I had turned off the Zoom call. Now, that's not a defense. This was deeply moronic and indefensible, but I mean that is part of that is part of the story. And you know, I have spent the 7 subsequent months, miserable months in my life, I can certainly confess, trying to be a better person. I mean, in therapy, trying to do some public service, working in a food bank, which I certainly am going to continue to do.
Oh man, just what you want, handling your food at the food bank. Jeffrey Toobin, who's famous for this masturbation thing on Zoom. Okay, this is outrageous. This is not just cute and funny, and this is not a minor thing. Okay, this is outrageous. Okay, now he was masturbating during this Zoom video meeting with his co-workers and the editorial staff at the New Yorker. My take on this would be that there is probably someone in that meeting, probably a woman, I would imagine. There was probably a female in that group, at least one, that he was fantasizing about during this act. This is indecent exposure. He committed a sex act in front of his coworkers on Zoom. I would say that this is also a sexual assault of his co-workers. I don't know if he completed the act or not. I don't know. Do you guys know, if anybody knows, did he complete the act on the Zoom call? He tells Allison Camerata that he thought the video was off. How do we know that's true? Maybe he knew the video was still on. And, the first question, you're not going to get any honesty from Toobin, and this probably was also not the first time. I remember when the story came out, I did see the beginning of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I mean, come on. But I did see the beginning of it, and he did it rather casually, as if this is something that he was doing on a regular basis. So here he is, committing a sexual offense in front of his coworkers at the New Yorker on video, male and female, sexually assaulting them, committing indecent exposure, and I'm sure there's other offenses you could add into that. The New Yorker did the right thing. They fired him. CNN, now he's their honored legal analyst. And Allison Camerata, how the heck did she end up with this segment? Did they make her do it? Did she ask to do it? They have him being interviewed by a woman so that a woman can clear him. When I compared this, I talked about this on my podcast last night, I used this example. Joy Reid over at MSNBC, some old things she had posted online that were homophobic came out a few years ago. And what MSNBC did was have her do some segments with Rachel Maddow, because Rachel Maddow's gay, so she could give her the gay okay, that she's not a homophobe to the audience. I feel they did something similar with Toobin here, with Allison Camerata, to give the female approval for his low-life, scummy behavior. What happened to the Me Too movement? Right? How many months did CNN spend on that Access Hollywood video? Where President Trump didn't do anything. He didn't touch anyone or do anything. He said something. Meanwhile, they got this guy on who committed a sex act on video live with his co-workers assaulting a woman. And they got him on there? This is not funny. This is not cute. I hope that media show on the weekend on Fox goes over this. That Howard Kurtz show. Is that Howard Kurtz on the weekend that does that media show? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Why did they not show the video of this guy, Toobin, like they've done the Access Hollywood with President Trump, where he didn't do anything? He said something. And by the way, what he said was not inappropriate, President Trump. He didn't say he goes around doing that. He said that starlets in Hollywood, when you're a celebrity, they're so easy that if you wanted to, you could do that. Our number is toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Good morning, you're on the radio.
See, now when he answers it, I can talk to him on the radio.
You're on the radio. Oh my goodness, you're on the radio. Go ahead, caller. Turn the volume down of whatever you're listening to me on in the background, please.
So you're on?
Turn the volume down with the radio, the computer. All right, you figure it out. Figure out how to use a phone. It's 2021, people. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hi, Brian. This is Verlanda.
Hey, Verlanda.
As far as I'm concerned, CNN does things for the ratings. Maybe they had a real dip in ratings, and they needed something like that to liven up the show. They have no morals over there, you know that. They never really had any morals. Anything that would kick their ratings up, I think that's one of the reasons and one of the purposes that they did that. I have to be honest with you, to have them on.
Well, I feel, him committing this public sex act, I mean, I would assume that he was directing his fantasies towards a female in the New Yorker group, which is, and I consider what he did a sex assault because it was done live in front of these people. I mean, could you imagine having a guy, you're in a meeting at work and some guy gets up in front of the meeting and starts masturbating in front of the staff?
When you listen to his voice, the man has no shame. I wonder who his parents were, because he has absolutely, he has a very matter-of-factly, disposition. He has no shame about what he did, so I guess. Well,
there have been some high-profile masturbation incidents in the past. There was Pee Wee Herman back in the early 90s, and Neil Rogers here locally. And both of them were, this was before the internet, both of them were in XXX movie theaters because those were still around. And you expect that in a porno movie theater. It was no big deal. This was in a staff meeting, and I'm not so sure that he thought the camera was off.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't do it deliberately, and he sounded like he wanted to laugh when she started to talk about it anyway, to be honest with you, when I listened to his voice. But you know what? I call about something else too, Brian, because I had a chance to listen to Dan Bongino.
Okay.
His show. And I tell you, I see what you mean now about talk show hosts and basically having fine-tuning certain people and people being mentored. He could use some. You are right. I listened to him. Now he kept me from listening at Hannity when if sometimes I'm like forced to. But he could use some fine-tuning. I'm not so concerned about him because he does come across as very loyal to the country. And Clay Aiken, I'm the CIA one.
Buck Sexton.
Yes, Sexton. I'm concerned about that.
Well, listen, at CNN, there are 2 CIA people on the air every day at CNN. Anderson Cooper, whose mother is Gloria Vanderbilt, which is from the old Blue Buds. Anderson Cooper, while in college, it's in his bio, go on Wikipedia, he interned 2 summers in college at the CIA headquarters, and he did some other things that I think was CIA work. Dana Bash, she used to be married to John King, but her husband before that, where she got the Bash name, was one of the deputy directors of the CIA. So, there's I believe that the internet and social media and everything were created by the government to monitor us all and other things. And I'm very concerned that we have someone from the CIA taking over the Rush Limbaugh program. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong about it.
But Brian, I think I might have mentioned it a few calls back. I was a little concerned about that too because they, believe it or not, you guys, when I listen to liberal media, a lot of them are afraid of you guys. They are petrified. They go out to just try to discredit, and I sort of like malign you guys. Those of you who are in talk radio and things like that.
Well, what they look like. This is what it's like. Okay, I mentioned this before, but I started out in FM. I wasn't on the air, and I left to take the job working with Steve. And I don't want to get sidetracked on that because it's a long story, but my friends are like, how could you do that? Go to AM. And it was like, if you ever watch the Titanic, they look at AM talk radio as steerage, and the rest of the media, they're like Rose in the first class. You know what I mean? That's kind of how they. But they're threatened by talk radio because talk radio is very influential. The listeners of talk radio are people who vote, and they're afraid of talk radio. And I don't think it's Buck Sexton seems like a good guy. I've seen him on TV many times. I've heard him from time to time. I haven't heard him in an extended discussion. I've only heard him in like little talking head things. He seems all right to me, but I've got some concerns. I've got some concerns.
In my opinion, I think you have a right to have a concern. With regards to our Vice President, Brian, and I'm going to say, and I'm just putting this mildly, and I'm going to try to be nice about it. The woman has a problem with being asked direct questions. A person like that is, as far as I'm concerned, they are a professional liars, and she is the type of person that when she is asked, because to me, when Lester Holt asked her that question about the border, that giggling is a defense mechanism because she's the type that normally flies up the handle.
Yeah.
She'll probably say some things that will astound you.
That interview with Lester Holt and Kamala, what I compared it to the other day was the Rick Sanchez interview with Charlize Theron. He started giving Charlize Theron, Rick Sanchez, in this CNN interview. Go look this up on YouTube, guys. You'll see this. he was asking her some very tough questions about her support for Fidel Castro, and she started flirting with him, trying to come on to him, just get him on. And I think that's what Kamala was doing with Lester Holt. Lester Holt, I don't know if he's gay or straight, but he's a handsome guy, and she's not even up close to his league, even being VP. I don't think her flirtations worked on Lester Holt.
She is the type of person, Brian. And another thing, I don't think she's comfortable around people who are everyday people, to be honest with you, because she's been in touch around the upper echelon.
You know who she reminds me of? Stormy Daniels. She's a woman in survival mode who has used sex and sex appeal to make their way. And sex and sex appeal works with ugly guys like Willie Brown and others. It doesn't work with, it
doesn't work with everyday people. It doesn't work with people who need help. She is actually petrified to go to the border.
I don't think, and I don't even think she wants to be president now. I think when she took this job, she expected Biden to resign and take over. I think she's afraid now that she sees the briefings every morning when she wakes up.
I know she's afraid, Brian. And let me tell you something. She doesn't want to go to the border. That's her nightmare. She doesn't want to be around those people. She doesn't want to have to put on a pair of jeans or put on a jean skirt and a plain shirt and have to actually help those.
Now listen, I'm late for the break, Rolanda, but I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by, and I do want to take your calls on Jeffrey Toobin. Steve will be joining us after the bottom of the hour break. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back.
Things are opening up again. Employers are hiring. Need a drug test before your job interview? Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and get tested. No doctor's order needed. No appointment necessary. Just walk right in. No insurance? No problem. Because they offer the lowest prices on all their thousands of lab tests. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough.
Rolanda's calls are always good. If you notice, I always go long with her. Beltway Rebel, $5 super chat, thank you. What happened to the ignorance? Oh, somebody had asked about the shirts, when they arrive in time for Father's Day. My wife orders me these shirts, okay? And I'll just tell you, I can't promise with you, but I'm in Florida, and I get them like 3-4 days. I usually get them within 4 days. I can't promise you though. I'm just telling you, they usually come to me in 3 or 4 days after my wife orders them. That's all. Not ask that. Yes, my wife buys all my clothes.
etc., as well as the latest state-of-the-art non-invasive treatments for erectile.
No, I just kept there for backup. I told you, sometimes this gets heavy. It's not, I have a backup mic I put in here yesterday, a handheld, in case sometimes, because I'm wearing headphones and headsets all day.
Schedule your appointment today. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. Steve will be joining us after the bottom of the hour break. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's 420.
Hey, 420.
All right. So we all know it's wrong what, he was the masturbation over, but what do you think, or who was he thinking about while he was doing?
I don't know. I don't know who was in the meeting, but I'm sure he was thinking about somebody. And listen, I know people will say, well, everybody does such things. Not everybody whips it out and starts masturbating in front of a meeting at work, in front of the, with their coworkers. This is what he did. This wasn't like he was doing it at home and in some sex chat with some girl or something that was a willing participant. He started doing it, Jeffrey Toobin, in front of his coworkers. Okay, so this is just a little different.
Do you think he's that perverted?
Well, I know he is because he did it. All right. It sounds like you're trying to get perverted, and think about it. It's like you're trying to get something going here. Oh, boy. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hi, my name is Steve. I'm originally from Philly.
Steve, originally from Philly. Go ahead.
Yes.
I can go 1,000 different ways with Jeffrey Toobin's story, but most of them I couldn't get away with on the radio.
Okay.
What I can get away with, if I had a job and I worked with a lot of people and I was on Zoom and I was caught masturbating, I'm sure I would get fired.
Well, he was fired by the New Yorker. The New Yorker did fire him.
Right, but the thing is, I'd be so embarrassed, I wouldn't even want my job back. I'd want to go somewhere where nobody knew me. And, it's just that, and then can you imagine going for another job and using them as a reference?
Yeah.
Ball in there. And, then you call your old job, how was your worker? Why?
Well, I thought the way that it came off on CNN with Allison Cameron, I'm going to play the interview again later after Steve joins us. They thought it was funny that he didn't just expose himself, he committed a sex act in front of his the entire staff at the New Yorker. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I've heard that a number of times already with the Allison Camerata, and look, I think that was kind of tasteless. It's just for her to talk to him on air about this incident. I don't think.
Well, the reason I bring this up because everybody makes mistakes and things happen. Okay, all right, and that's I don't know why he wasn't charged with a crime. That's indecent exposure at least, and isn't that a crime? And is there an added offense to it because it's done electronically and it might have crossed state lines? I don't know if people were in different locations on the Zoom. This is very strange new territory. But the reason I bring this up is because of what a big deal CNN made about the Access Hollywood audio recording of President Trump. He didn't do anything or touch anyone that didn't want to be touched. And they made that like, what a terrible man he was. And there was this whole moral outcry nationwide. Here you've got Jeffrey Toobin, who exposed himself in front of all of his co-workers and committed a sex act, which may be I don't know, is sexual assault too strong? I mean, he was fantasizing about one of the women in the meeting.
Yeah, well, you know what, as well as I do, it's the old double standard. If Trump does it, everybody hears about it, but when somebody else does it, no big deal, I guess. But I don't know. This whole story, it's so bizarre.
It is bizarre.
I remember the Pee Wee Herman case, by the way, and that was the jokes were flying around back then, but that was crazy.
Well, the Pee Wee Herman, who I don't know how many people remember Pee Wee Herman, but I know a lot. Most of you guys do if you're my age or older. He was Pee Wee's Playhouse. He was a child, had a kids show and all this stuff. That was really for adults. But he was arrested. He was arrested for masturbating in an adult movie theater because there was no internet yet, and that was the talk of the nation. And I'm sure if people at Fox News and elsewhere went back to the old footage, I bet you CNN did endless coverage on Pee Wee Herman, who was masturbating in a X-rated movie theater, which is why guys go to those movie theaters, by the way. That's why people go to those movie theaters. And now all of a sudden they've got this. Come on.
Yeah, and as soon as you have somebody come over, and if you were a CNN watcher, and Jeffrey Toobin came on, and they were looking, you say, "Oh, that's the guy that got caught masturbating."
Well, it's not that he got caught masturbating. Listen, it's not that he got caught masturbating. He exposed himself and masturbated in front of all of his coworkers in a meeting. This is different. This isn't like Hugh Grant picked up a prostitute, okay, and got busted because while she was pleasuring him, he was hitting the brake pedal and the brake lights were going off and the cops came over and arrested him. That's a sex worker he hired. It was semi-private, in the car. Okay, and there's recovery. This guy did this in a public meeting, and by the way, Hugh Grant was arrested, Pee Wee Herman was arrested, Neil Rogers, when he did that here in the theater, you guys remember that? He was arrested. There was court things going on. This guy, they're celebrating like now he's cool. Jeffrey Toobin's cool now.
Yeah, I'm still not. I still wouldn't want to be known for doing something like that. I don't want to follow me around for the rest of my life.
Well, I don't think have you ever done such a thing?
No.
Okay, then you got nothing to worry about. Hey, listen, take care. Thanks for the call. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We will take our break. Come back with your calls after the bottom of the hour break. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance
Steve Kane Show.
of foot care and has provided
Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show.
My good friends at the Soul Authority.
Hey, Barry.
The Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic.
Hey guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And if everybody could like the video, that would be awesome. That liking the video helps a lot. It helps the YouTube algorithm recommend this video. I like these glasses, but I have to use these reading glasses to read. So.
Amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, welcome back. You know, a week from Sunday is Father's Day, and you dads out there, a great Father's Day gift that you can give to your entire family. I know, Father's supposed to get the gifts, and that's good, but you fathers, you dads out there can give a great Father's Day gift to your entire family, and that's by calling attorney Barry Siegel's office at the Siegel Law Group and get your estate in order so that your family's taken care of when you pass on. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, Brian. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Just great. We had a very nice lady come in, I believe yesterday it was. She had actually attended one of our workshops just before COVID started. I think it was like last January or February that she had come in, but she's just now finally coming in, and she wanted us to review her estate planning documents. They were actually done by an attorney. She told the attorney she wanted to make sure that the assets stayed in the family bloodline. However, outright distributions were done. She wanted to make sure that she was covered so that if she ever became ill, she could qualify for Medicaid. And her power of attorney lacked language that would have helped with that to make sure that she could qualify. There was no HIPAA language in her healthcare surrogate. There was no HIPAA authorization. They were lacking, and she needed help. So it was a couple days ago, she came in, and we're getting her all straightened out. And she came in for the free review, and the thing she said to me is she felt so relieved and she felt peace of mind after having that meeting.
Oh, yeah. You know, I've talked to many, many listeners that are clients of yours, Attorney Barry Siegel, and every one of them tells me the same exact thing, that they feel a sense of relief, like everything's taken care of, they have nothing to worry about. Now, listen, guys, take advantage of this free consultation with the Siegel Law Group. Call 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. And by the way, Attorney Barry Siegel, you have offices Oh man, you have so many offices. How far north and how far south are your offices spread out? You've got offices all over the area.
Yeah, there's 9 offices throughout South Florida. Main one, of course, is in Boca Raton, but we go as far north as Palm Beach Gardens and as far south as Coral Gables.
Yeah, that's right. So there's one near you. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week. All right, take care. All right, Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing all right. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to the phones in a moment. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I've been talking about Jeffrey Toobin that they brought back on CNN. Oh, my goodness.
I think that's what has me the most shocked, is that with all the things going on in the news, that old, tired, sad, pathetic story about this tortured man. I mean, you have to imagine.
Well, CNN's tortured. It goes to the credibility of CNN.
Yeah, but I'd like to think we have more credibility than the CNN.
Well, this is what has the phones fired up, but if you know, I'll turn it over to you.
Turn it over.
Okay.
I figured when I tuned in this morning, the one thing you would be, one of the many things you would be talking about is the fact that yesterday the squad, the so-called squad, pretty well self-destructed, and in a way it's never happened before. They're usually pretty solid with each other. So the thing, and the bottom line, the Democratic Party is falling apart. That's what.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Happy days are here again.
Now, I understand it may not be as significant as Jeffrey Toobin saying.
Listen, people like sex and things like this, and it's, you know, it's.
You consider the story about Jeffrey Toobin playing with.
I think he wasn't playing. No, Steve. He masturbated in front of his coworkers, and CNN is, you know, it goes to the credibility of the mainstream media. That's what we're talking. Now, listen, as the phone lines hang up, hang on. We will get to the. You know, don't clear out all the lines yet, Steve. No, there's still some callers on hold, so we'll get to the phones in just a moment at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. No, I think it's an important story, Jeffrey Toobin, because it goes to the credibility of the mainstream media. But I'll say this about what you brought up before we go back to the phones on Omar. You know, we got a problem with Ilhan Omar is obviously an American through the naturalization process, but she has not been Americanized. And I would say the same could probably be true with Tlaib. They're Americans in name only. They're not Americans in their heart and minds. They're still, you know, she's still Somalian and Tlaib is Palestinian. And they don't understand this country. They don't have an American perspective. They have a foreign perspective. And really, before you're in government, it's okay to be a naturalized Jew. My mother-in-law is an immigrant. You know, the First Lady, Melania Trump, is an immigrant. But they're Americans. They're not Somalian. They're not Palestinian. And they just they don't fit in or belong because they don't think like us. They have a different agenda. You know, and a different mindset and everything else, and a different worldview. It's, you know, we got, you know.
Steve Kane, scale of 1 to 10 in terms of importance. How would you compare the two events on a scale of 1 to 10? With one issue.
Well, I'll throw it out to the callers. I'll go. Well.
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing you.
Well, I want to go to the calls before you clear the board out, before we take them, because you're telling people you don't want to talk about it. On every line, they're hanging up one after the other, but you said...
Then let's move on. Maybe they're trying to tell us...
No, because you told them you don't want to talk about it, so the lines are going dark one by... There's still callers on hold. We got a lot of lines, but, you know...
Them, I mean, we might...
You know...
I don't want to be sarcastic, but...
Okay. Let me take some calls before the rest of the board is clear. But if you know...
Looking for a robust discussion of the Mideast, at least, and plus losing 400 billion tax dollars, which somehow the Democrats have managed to do.
Mm-hmm.
The implications of that are, and basically the party is in free fall. And the worst part of it is we have a man who is, let's see, what phrase would apply, who is beyond incompetent running this mighty government in situations where the one mistake can.
Well, let's throw this out, okay, to the callers that are still left that haven't abandoned us yet on the phones. There's some openings now as Steve is clearing out our board at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. It's because I'm watching. I had all of our lines lit, and you said they don't talk about it. How can they be asleep? How can they be asleep if every line was lit? And now there's No, maybe about 25. The phones are ringing off the hook. People can't even get through. But you can get through now at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. What would you rather talk about, guys? CNN and Jeffrey Toobin, or the theft of the stimulus funds?
Trying to create a budget that they don't seem to be able.
Okay. Okay, let's do this. I'm interested in all of it. Well, first off, Steve, hold on. First off, okay. The show starts at 6. I didn't talk about this until 7, the Toobin thing. I spent the first hour talking about a lot of other issues. Every line was, as soon as I brought up Jeffrey Toobin, every line on the board lit up. So that people are interested in it. But this is what we'll do. Let's ask a question, then we'll take a break. Okay, we'll throw this open to the callers. Would you rather us talk about the budget filibuster battle, the theft of the stimulus funds, or CNN's hypocrisy and Jeffrey Toobin's sex act? Which would you like us to talk about? Okay, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Okay, some of the lines are filling up again.
I don't want the callers to go away, but what
could have fooled me? Yes, yeah.
What do you think the interest is in Jeffrey Toobin's?
People are always interested. Okay, there's a couple things. First off, people are always interested in sex, and
Jeffrey Toobin playing with his tube is not sex.
It's beyond that, and also the hypocrisy of CNN. Now, you can't just talk about the budget, okay, you guys out there, when you call in. If you want to tell us, don't just say talk about the budget. Try to get a conversation going that's interesting about it too. Yeah, like I'm doing now. I'm taking a dry academic subject and making some interest into it. All right, listen. There is an opening on the board at 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. We will take our last break of the second hour and be back with your calls right after this.
Seniors, Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your prescriptions are filled. They'll review your doctor's bills to make sure they are correct. If you're in the hospital and you need an advocate to get the care you need, I Will Advocates, they'll do that too. They'll handle your Medicare and Medicaid applications, and that's just the beginning. They do a lot more too. Give Debbie and her team at I Will Advocates a call right now. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Online, iwilladvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimonial about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going brown, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man, and Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, now before we get back to a very historic moment on the Steve Kane Show, Steve not interested in talking about sex, which is a first. Listeners are shocked. But
consider the discussion of Jeffrey Toobin's masturbatory.
Yes. Okay, but before we get back,
To a
Yeah.
Jesus, you know how long it's been since I've been in a porn store?
They don't even have those anymore? Do they?
But there was a day when I went through a phase like that.
A phase?
Going to check out what I'm going to check out at the stand or the cashier stand. You can bet your bibby that Jeffrey Toobin is not going to.
Well, okay. Now I'll tell you this: calling your porn era a phase doesn't usually last like 4 decades, Steve. I mean, come on, that's a long phase. But when I first met you, when I first started to get to know you, was when Neil Rogers got arrested for masturbating in the adult theater, and you made bumper stickers about it, about him masturbating. I still have some of those. They're collector's items.
That's because we were more. It was more personal.
Okay. Well, this involves CNN. We know CNN. Now, listen, before we go to the phones, I got to tell you this. A big announcement involving Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow. Now, I got to tell you this. You guys need to understand what Mike Lindell has been going through. Mike Lindell, you know, MyPillow has been banned from 20 major retailers. 20 major retailers. Here we are, not even in the middle of June yet. This year alone, Mike Lindell's MyPillow has lost $65 million in revenue because of these bans. They're organizing more boycotts. And tomorrow in Wisconsin, Mike Lindell is having a MAGA rally with President Trump. And, and he's, do you know earlier this week his law firm fired him that was representing him in these lawsuits? I've never heard of such a thing. You know, you can get arrested masturbating and they'll represent you, but you want to advocate for Trump, they drop you. Lawyers all of a sudden get a moral compass. Mike Lindell's risking it all, and I'll tell you, he needs your support, and there's no better way to support Mike Lindell than going to mypillow.com, using the promo code Kane at checkout. Buy something. Every special you see there, you can take advantage of with the promo code Kane. You're not only helping Mike Lindell, you're helping the Steve Kane Show too when you do that, by the way, Kane. The MyPillow itself, the lowest price ever, $29.98 with the promo code Kane at checkout. The MyPillow pet beds, just $20 with the promo code Kane at checkout. The MyPillow mattress topper, which I sleep on every night, it's changed my life. I for the first time in my adult life, I'm getting all night rested sleep with the MyPillow mattress topper, which turns your whole bed into a MyPillow. 30% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, and you get 2 free premium MyPillows with that. You can also order by phone at 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. All right, every line on the board is lit. We're going to go to these calls right now at 1-888-GO-KANE-1, and I'm going to go to them in the order in which they were received. All right? You're on the radio. Good morning.
This is Linda in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, Linda.
Oh, Linda.
Hi there. Did you give the picture of Jill sitting on Biden's lap, Brian?
I get all the emails, but I have not gotten that one.
To Steve.
Well, I get Steve's emails. Steve doesn't use email.
Ian.
Cruise and Travel Depot? I'll ask Ian. Yeah.
Tell us about it a little bit.
Oh,
Tell me about the picture and why you were motivated to send it.
she was, because I told Brian about it yesterday and he asked me to send it. She's young and adorable sitting on a young Biden's lap. And he's got his arm tightly around her.
And what's scandalous about it? They're married. Oh, she would. Well, how do you in the photograph? How do you know her age?
Young.
Oh, okay. I will comb through our emails and talk to Ian and get it and take a look at the picture and then I'll give it to Steve and we'll comment on it next week.
You can add Fred Willard to your movie masturbation list.
Fred Willard just died.
Yeah, but 10 or 15 years ago, he was caught in a movie theater masturbating.
What kind of movie theater? An adult movie theater or like a?
It was an X-rated.
Oh, must have been a long time ago. All right, appreciate it.
But there's a correspondence course she got her doctorate from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about the?
Well, Jill Biden got her doctorate when she was the second lady when Joe was vice president from the University of Delaware. From this, and the school there is named after her husband. So I seriously doubt she had to work all that hard on. Yeah.
Appreciate you put into preparing for this call.
And she's been on hold for like half an hour, so I appreciate it. All right. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Jim in Cincinnati.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, sort of disappointed and hate to be the negative voice on a phone call, but I've tuned in for a while and enjoyed the show for the most part, especially during the elections and before when Trump was rallying. It was great. I tuned in this morning, first of all, just listen in, and I don't really look at the thumbnails too much. I just look for Brian Craig, and I click it.
On YouTube, yeah.
And, man, you guys, I don't know if it's a programming choice or whatever, but really, really hard on the people's mornings. At least mine. Okay, I'm a good guy. I don't...
Well, what are we doing that's hard on your morning?
I mean, is there more important problems in this world? I call in because I don't get much chance to talk about.
Okay, what problem would you like? Okay, slow down. I'm going to ask you. I'm asking your opinion. You know, this is a grievance morning here. I'm open to constructive criticism. What problem would you like? What should I be talking about instead?
It's not a should.
What would you like me to talk about instead? Give me your suggestion.
More interesting, it's more relevant, I think, to the world's problems right now to talk about Joe Biden in Europe.
Well, I did that in the first hour of the show. I spent the whole first hour talking about that.
Excuse me, you don't even let a man finish.
I talked about that in the first hour.
Brian, not everybody's there at 6 o'clock.
Well, I'm sorry. That's when the show starts. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Wait a minute. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what to do, caller. I'll tell you what to do. What's your name again? What's your name?
Jim.
Jim, I'll tell you what. You call me in the morning when you're about to turn me on, and then I'll start talking, and I'll just sit here in the studio until Jim calls, and because the show's only for Jim.
Stop being a punk.
I spent the first hour talking about Joe Biden's trip and analyzed it in detail, by the way.
What did he say in Europe?
Well, I'm sorry you missed the first hour. I'm not gonna recap it because you weren't awake.
Talk about Jeffrey Toobin's tube.
Yes.
Use the people's time. You're ridiculous, Brian.
I'm ridiculous. You don't want the show to start until you're listening.
Hey, your boss, Steve, came on the line and said, "This is ridiculous," and I agree. That's all I called it.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Corner of my position.
I agree with you that it's ridiculous, too, that CNN did this. Oh, my goodness. Oh, keep on trucking. You know what, Tim, by the way, I did spend a lot of time in the first hour analyzing his trips, so you guys, that's what the overnight rebroadcast is for. Tim is it's like an episode of The Twilight Zone, right? He's the only person in the world that's real. Everybody else is fake, and nothing should start until he's there. All right, let's take some more calls. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Haas, Southeast Florida.
Haas, okay.
The secular news claims that Iran has a ship on the way to the Americas loaded with nukes.
Oh, my goodness.
Good thing. You really want to talk about nuclear bombs headed this way rather than discuss?
Well, talk about it. Talk about it. Go ahead, caller. Let's go. Make it interesting. Come on, let's go. Let's talk about the Iranian ship. Iranian shipping.
Putin, the head of Russia, the former head of their CIA, said that the destruction of the world could start in 15 minutes.
Oh, my goodness. We better hurry up then. I got spots to get in.
And he's knowledgeable.
Uh-huh.
Not only that, the Lord doesn't like what's going on in our country with easy divorce, consequent child abuse, homosexual marriage, drugs killing people, 160,000 a year. The Lord's going to call everything off very soon. Things to order. And something.
All right.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Every call on this program screenless, by the way. We do not answer the phones prior to them going on the air. If you're new here, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, K-A-N-E, and the number 1, 888-465-2631. Okay.
Enough of this nonsense. Let's get a good question.
Okay.
Evidently, someone, I guess my first question is, who is responsible for this? Somebody took our hard-earned tax dollars, $400 billion that were collected from us. That's our tax money, and somehow they were careless with it and gave away $400 billion, which I'm assuming, in fact, this is my first question, I'm assuming the first thing they're going to have to do is replace that money, because over at the Capitol, and then in another building, they're in the process of giving it away.
Well, maybe they'll give it back, Steve. Maybe the thieves will give it back.
What I want to know is who's responsible. No one's even asking for an explanation. Nobody's even talking about who's responsible. The assumption is, well, these are stupid taxpayers. If they were stupid enough to pay the first $400 billion, they're not even going to notice if we have to replace.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I got a response. I'm going to tell you, don't be concerned about that, because the last caller said the world could end in 15 minutes and an Iranian ship filled with nuclear weapons is on its way to the Caribbean.
Being a little bit catastrophic.
Yeah. Okay, let's take one more call before the break. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian and Steve. You guys are
Good morning.
hell of a morning, huh? It's Andrea.
It was just, I recognize your voice anywhere, Andrea. And that laugh, that sexy laugh.
Oh, don't mention sex, Steve. There's more important things than sex and sexiness and laughter.
Well, I'm going to get to the sexiness in a minute. So, this is my take on the Jeffrey Toobin thing. Right, this goes a little bit above what you're actually touching on. Right, so, in my opinion, this is the relevance of the Jeffrey Toobin thing. And I'm going to contrast it to the Matt Gaetz scandal. They're just blatantly accusing Matt Gaetz with no proof of sexual misconduct, whereas Jeffrey Toobin was actually caught. There is proof, and this is when I'm...
Yes.
It's creating, again, an analogy of if you are a liberal, we're going to tolerate anything and
including masturbating in staff meeting. I think what's going on here, Andrea, is this. I just figured out what's going on with Steve. No, I just figured out what's going on with Steve. I've known you for many, many years, and this is a first. okay, for Steve not to want to talk about such a thing. But this is what's going on. I'm at the radio station. We have built a studio for Steve at home. Steve is home with his kids, his grandkids, and everyone else. And it's an uncomfortable topic to be talking about this guy masturbating over at CNN when you're doing a show surrounded by your kids and grandkids. They don't want to be dirty old grandpa like that De Niro movie.
Grandkids are getting ready for school.
Yeah, but they're still around. They could hear. Maybe it was uncomfortable talking about it with the family around. I don't know. No, Andrea, you make a good point, because Matt Gaetz has done nothing wrong. CNN has spent a couple of months attacking Matt Gaetz for a fake sex scandal that there's been no evidence of. No victim has come forward. No woman has come forward. And here they have, I believe what Jeffrey Toobin did was a sexual assault. He was masturbating to a woman in the meeting in front of the whole staff. I believe that's a sexual assault. So they're attacking Matt Gaetz still today, while they got this guy on their air as a voice of credibility as part of the CNN lineup. Well, in Toobin's case, there's video. Yeah. Correct.
Sexy stuff, which is the fun now.
I'm ready.
Oh, the budget talks? Oh, man. No.
The budget talk.
Oh, how exciting.
Well, here's the thing. People aren't talking about this $400 billion that just literally fell off the face of the earth, right? Because everybody knows how corrupt our government is. So nobody's going to, Brian, that's just like saying the sun is shining, right? $400 billion fell off the face of the earth. If the American people are just yep, now what? Now what? But the sexy stuff about what's going on with this budget is that now it's almost like they've awoken the giant, right? Because people like me, I normally never pay.
I don't think they've awakened the giant at all. I don't think anybody gives a damn about it.
Did you see Biden with his hands all over the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom's wife yesterday? I know, the First Lady of the UK. He's got his hands all over.
Not in control, and
wow,
the damage he can do to this country is this stuff. What are you talking about, Biden?
Listen, we are very late for the top of the hour break. Andrea, great call as always, great points, and right on point as usual. We'll take our break a couple minutes late for the top of the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be back.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Attention seniors, Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your prescriptions are filled. They'll review your doctor's bills to make sure they are correct. If you're in the hospital and you need an advocate to get the care you need, I Will Advocates, they'll do that too. They'll handle your Medicare and Medicaid applications, and that's just the beginning. They do a lot more too. Give Debbie and her team at I Will Advocates a call right now, 954 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Online, IWillAdvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Call the show toll-free. Dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE.
All right, we are back 6 after 8, and I'll tell you, I'm looking at the weather. It's going to be in the 90s today, a very hot day. If you're on the road in South Florida, you need air conditioning in your car that, unlike Steve's Son's, is working 100% to keep you cool and comfortable. You don't want to drive around in the Florida sun without your air conditioning in your car working properly. Go up to Champagne Auto. Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton. They'll never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle does not need. And have them check out your AC. Make sure it is working properly and is blowing air as cold as it possibly can. They do everything up there, by the way, not just AC work. But I think about my AC every time I get in the car and turn it on these days, because it's hot every day, and it's going to be for months. Champagne Automotive Repair, their number 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. All right, only one opening on our board at 1-888-GO-KANE-1 as the Iranian ship with nukes is heading to the Caribbean, according to Haas. And we're in the Caribbean, right? In Florida. Oh, my goodness. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hi. I got that guy Jeffrey Toobin, that guy caught masturbating, right? Do you think it's possible he was looking at Kamala Harris?
No, he was, I know, cute joke, attempted a joke. He was in a staff meeting with the entire editorial staff at the New Yorker and exposed himself and did it then. So,
Hi, sir. I appreciate your contribution to the show.
I don't know if I'd call that a contribution. I mean, I don't know what that was. 1-888-GO-KANE-1 is the number. Good morning.
No worries. We're good.
Turn off the volume of the device in the background.
Got that. Let me take off. How you been doing, Steve? It's been a while since I talked to you. Well, Brian,
No, it's Brian. Bryant is the black version of Brian. Is Brian. Bryant is the Ebonics version.
Yes, sir. You called.
Either way.
What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
Correct. You are correct, Steve. Lately, Brian has been talking about nothing but this. There's other important things to talk about, like what's been going on with some of the executive deals.
All right, pick a topic that you would like us to talk about, caller. Pick a hot topic.
I'm telling you a whole bunch.
Give me one. Give me your best. Give me your best, and let's go.
Brian, stop that. You have got legacy, Brian. Back in the day, you used to do a lot of research. You don't do no more research. You said, come on.
You really think so? Yeah. Okay, so give me an example of one of the big topics in the news today that you think we should be talking about, and let's talk about it.
Oh, well, let's talk about it. Let's go for it. Let me see Dr. Thatcher Rand Paul been chewing up Dr. Thatcher about lying with the Senate. He ain't talking about nothing about especially about how they can lie about the vaccination house.
Well, all I'm hearing is a bunch of complaining. I'm not hearing anybody taking a discussion anywhere. I mean, you know, well, unlike, I can see what's next, Steve. I can see what's next. Okay, I can go, but all I'm. You were talking about these other things, so I'm. The phones are open. You guys talk. Okay. Good morning. You're on. Morning. You're on the radio. Yes. What's your name?
Hey, my name is Anthony. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Anthony. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for taking my call. I just,
Thanks for calling.
Normally, I would love to talk about the budget and, what Biden's doing to this country. But this story about Toobin, all the guys at work were talking about this, and people that are not even political. This is something that doesn't happen all that often, in my opinion, and it happens to a company like CNN that is constantly attacking conservatives like Matt Gaetz and Trump for things that they didn't even do. And here we have CNN basically bringing in somebody that was flagrantly assaulting women.
Mm-hmm.
Video camera.
Exactly. That's the point I've been making. Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe I walked into work and all these guys are talking about.
In fact, this Toobin topic is trending on Twitter. It's blowing the internet up. Everyone's talking about it, and I promise you, it's going to be a highlight of the 5 today. Howie Kurtz on the weekends on Fox with his media analyst. I'm sure he'll be talking about this. It's a hot topic. It's because it really goes to the credibility of the main. Listen, there's 3 major cable outlets, right? Fox, CNN, and MSNBC. This one involves CNN. Major, and they put this guy on after everything they've done to President Trump, Access Hollywood, all this crap. NBC had Matt Lauer abusing women in his office, locking him in his office at the Today Show for years. And you've got a pattern with these liberal news outlets of women being assaulted and harassed and treated in disgusting, dehumanizing ways. And I think it's relevant. That's just me. Now, I know the budget is very interesting too, but I just can't get as excited about that personally.
But when you say the budget, are you including the $400 billion with a B, billion dollars that they somehow left lying around so it could get stolen?
Well, I don't know where to go with that after you say that. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, who's responsible?
Well, it was under Trump's watch. I hope it wasn't him. I don't think it was Trump. I don't know.
This is a government that was sending. I work with people that have had family that recently died or died a year ago or whatever. They were getting checks from the government. The government was just sending money out there. They weren't checking anything.
They were sending money to whoever filled out the form. I read stories months ago of guys incarcerated in prisons getting money.
Right, and does it really surprise sending money to? It honestly doesn't surprise me.
$400 billion doesn't surprise you?
Million. No, it doesn't surprise me at all. Incompetent government.
And I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe it was by design. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe it's not incompetence. Maybe some people either in the government or connected to it are very wealthy.
I agree with you that the amount of money is mind blowing, but you really think this goes on every day in the government? $400 billion? They couldn't maintain it.
With de Blasio's wife, Bill de Blasio, she lost a bunch of money.
Like $100 billion. She didn't lose it. It disappeared. I wouldn't say she lost it. It was like $100 billion. $100 billion or nothing.
Nothing ever happens to these people, and it's just if that would have been me or you, we would have gone.
See, this is what I was talking about in the first hour about Biden's trip to Europe. You know why Biden's going to Europe? He's going to Europe to set up all the sellout America deals that him and all the Congress people get rich off of. He's resetting up all the payoffs that all of them get. That's what this trip's about. That Trump stopped.
Right. Sure. One last thing. I heard Biden recently talking about. I saw this and I didn't even know what he was talking about, but he said something like, in 10 years, every single hospital bed will have an Alzheimer's patient in it. And it came out of the blue, out of nowhere, and I was just surprised. I'm like, is this really a...
Well, yeah, another thing I was talking about before the Toobin topic in the first hour, which had the phones lit up like crazy, and even as we're talking about the budget now, I see callers dropping off. There's, yesterday, Jack Posobiec has a tweet this morning. There was a scary happening with Biden yesterday. he was talking to Boris about a phone conversation they had when he was president last year. The problem is he wasn't president. He was talking about having a conversation with him last spring as president to prime minister when he wasn't president. And he's, yeah.
With those cold, steely blue eyes he has. This is a guy who is sharp as a tack and right on top of his game. And he's in there with, let's face it, our guy can't even get through his speech without repeating himself. I mean...
Well, if he thought he was president in the spring of last year, he's not mentally fit. They should invoke the 25th Amendment immediately. But let me talk to you for a second here about this. This is why I take offense. The show starts at 6. I talked about all this stuff in the first hour. Got a call or two. I bring up Toobin at 7, and you guys are judging me like that's all I was doing. You know, I talked about all this stuff in great detail with analysis in the first hour, and I bring up Toobin. Well, I just did. Well, people, you should be. But I just mentioned one of the things now. I bring up Toobin. I talked about all that stuff in the first hour. And by the way, it'll be on the overnights all weekend, on the overnight rebroadcast. The first hour airs at midnight and then at 3 a.m. all weekend long, 35 times before we return live to you Monday morning. And I got a call or two. I mentioned Toobin at 7. Within 40 seconds, which is our delay, every line on the board was lit. So, you know, I mean, I don't know why you guys give me a hard time. I talked about all these topics that you're talking about in the first hour, and I bring up Toobin, and boom, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I'm taking personal offense. I'm sorry that you're not all with me at 6 to 7.
Without any question, you are being defensive.
Well, I think I've got reason to be. You know, you and the guy from Kentucky, you know.
Action now.
Yeah, we've had action all morning.
Here.
We've had action all morning. So, so Steve, yeah.
Toobin is going to be a regular part of CNN like he used.
They reintroduced him yesterday as legal analyst.
They just bringing him back part time and maybe.
Well, he's not a full-time guy. He's their legal analyst. Like, you know, could you imagine if Napolitano had masturbated in front of the staff meeting at Fox? What they'd be saying at CNN? Because he's their legal analyst.
And I haven't seen him around lately. What happened to him? When I lost track of Judge Napolitano, he was in the midst of his own scandal. Whatever happened to him?
I missed that. What scandal? He was a never-Trumper. I've forgotten it, I guess.
It's never struck you that you hadn't noticed that...
I haven't seen him on there in months. I can't remember the last time I saw him.
They've disappeared him.
No. He's not missed.
Somebody out there, if you remember what happened to Judge Napolitano, it was a scandal of sorts. Call him and...
No, but I'll say to the caller, like Steve and the guy, you know, Steve's got a lot going on right at the house this morning, so I know. I understand Steve couldn't be there at 6 today listening, but Steve and that caller from Kentucky are giving me a hard time because I talked about all these things, but they weren't listening yet. So it's like I'm an incompetent talk show host because I was doing this whole stuff before you guys were listening. I mean, give me a break.
Insecurities.
Wouldn't you take offense? Wouldn't you take offense, caller?
Take it as when I consider the source, which is me, and my judgment is pretty good in this business. No, I would say, boy, I'm glad I got Steve here to keep me on the straight and narrow. That's just me.
Yeah. What do you think, caller?
I'll say this. I've been a listener for a long time, and I never called in. Today I called in because of this topic.
There you go, Toobin.
Because of how Toobin, I mean, I just couldn't really, I had to call in about this.
Well, look, CNN has been talking about that Access Hollywood tape of President Trump's for 5 or 6 years, and President Trump didn't do anything or touch anyone, and they still talk about that as if it was some type of assault against women, and then they bring this guy in, yeah.
Look, if you're really hung up on this issue and you want a good hook to discuss it, there is a good hook out there. The issue is not Jeffrey Toobin. The issue is the business. They're faced with the choice now. We don't know, or I don't know for sure, whether he's coming back part-time, whether they're trying to ease him back in. What does it say about a company that would put him on full-time?
Well, that's what I've been talking. That's what I've been talking about. I didn't just say Jeffrey Toobin masturbated. Call in. I wasn't doing that. I did a whole analysis of the whole. All right, I know. All right, listen. Thanks for calling and having my back, callers. At least somebody does. All right, listen. We'll take our break. Not you today. We'll take a break and be back.
I'm paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van. At the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, and Friendly Tire in Margate is open on Saturdays, tomorrow, people, if you can't make it in during the week. All right, let's go back to the phones. 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Remo, Kentucky. Guess you're banging Kentucky this morning.
Yeah, we're hot in Kentucky today.
It sounds like it. Hey, in sort of in your defense, you had issues this morning with YouTube, so a lot of people might not have been able. I wasn't able to hear this.
Well, we're on many radio stations, as well as iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, and many other platforms.
Not in our area. We got to go to.
Well, okay.
Now, I guess I'm just going to call and be a negative or whatever and say.
Well, okay.
I look for more intellectual topics, and I know you have an angle on Toobin where.
Maybe my Toobin analysis of CNN is intellectual, just too intellectual for you to grasp. Give me an example of an intellectual topic in the news today that you think we should be intellectualizing on right now.
As long as you're going to dog me, okay.
No, give me a topic.
Kamala Harris not going to the border.
Oh,
that's like 3 days old. That's 3 days old.
Oh, but every day it's a new story. Every day it gets worse. Every day, Biden is responsible for that.
I used to tune into your radio show because you had top of the line news and what was happening today. And Toobin is happening.
By the way, you're the same guy from Kentucky that called in 45 minutes ago. And don't say you're not. So I come on. So why you're a liar? This is your second call. You claim to be somebody different. You're the same guy. Yes, you are. I've got caller ID. I've got caller ID. All right, take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. Oh my goodness.
Good, you moved that right along. That's excellent.
Oh gee whiz. I'm 50. I'm finally learning how to do this business. Good morning. You're on the radio. Go ahead, caller. Thank God it's Friday. If this was Monday or Tuesday, we'd be screwed. Starting the week like this, it's Friday. We got the weekend to relax. Good morning. Yeah, go ahead, caller.
All right. Good morning, Brian, Steve. This is Dan from Florida. How are you?
Hey, Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I had a question. I guess it's indirectly related to that Jeffrey Toobin story, seeing that CNN took him back. I'm just curious to see that, seeing that over at Fox News when they had Bill O'Reilly leave, amid sexual misconduct, and also the other anchor, Ed Henry, last year, same type of thing, some type of allegation, so he was kind of like forced to leave. If Fox was to go ahead and take them both back, what would CNN would have?
Well, first off, when you're Ed Henry, okay, he didn't do what Jeffrey Toobin did. He had a consensual sexual relationship with some bimbo intern or something, or producer at Fox. It was consensual. He just didn't whip it out and start masturbating in a Fox meeting. Bill O'Reilly did something in private. He flirted with a black woman. Said something about he said something about hot chocolate or something. And then that's what they got him on. This is and CNN went after Fox on these things.
Well, that's my point, because if CNN was really lambasting them against forcing them and saying that's not right, that's not ethical, they shouldn't be there. But then if they were to do that, what would the CNN say after taking...
Well, we know what they'll say, because they've done endless... Listen, they even made a damn movie about Fox. They made a movie about Roger Ailes having consensual sex with people that worked under him. Consensual sex. They made by the way, the movie's very good. It's Charlize Theron plays Megyn Kelly. It's on Hulu for free if you guys have Hulu. I was shocked at have you seen the movie, Steve, with Nicole Kidman? It's very good. They made a whole movie about Roger Ailes having consensual sex with bimbos that worked underneath him, right? Here you got, and CNN promoted that movie. Here you've got CNN having a guy on their air who I believe sexually assaulted coworkers as he whipped it out and pleasured himself during a staff meeting. I mean, I think it says a lot about the credibility of CNN.
Well, hold on. That's what. There's one thing we're a little fuzzy here. So there's a point we have to clarify. The discussion is going to make sense. Have we determined factually whether this is the beginning of bringing Toobin back?
Yes, they reintroduced him. They brought him on to reintroduce him yesterday.
He's coming on as a regular host?
As their legal analyst. He's coming back as their legal analyst. He was on masturbation sabbatical.
And now that we've clarified that, that's hold on now.
I did clarify that at the beginning. You just missed that part. But I did clarify all that. I played this segment. I got this. They introduced him back yesterday with Allison Camerata.
That was not clear to me.
Well, okay. So now you take back everything you said about me today. Thanks a lot, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Just most of it.
Wait till we're doing that stage show together, Steve, on the cruise. This is going to be great. I can't wait. I can't wait to leave you hanging out there. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, and I had one other question.
Oh, here we go.
At the end of the year, I believe it's in December, when Trump goes ahead shows with Bill O'Reilly.
Yes.
Going to be a paid event that we would have to attend?
I think if it's Bill O'Reilly, I would probably say Bill O'Reilly's going to pay some. I don't think Bill O'Reilly does much for free. Nothing wrong with being paid event.
Yeah, because I think it's something going to be similar to like when O'Reilly did that with Jesse Walters. They went out throughout the country.
Oh, okay. I don't know. All right, I don't know. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah, I think people talking about Mr. Toobin is like a disguise.
what is really going on right now with Joe Biden and stuff? Why is CNN and all these news networks trying to put him out there so much? What are they hiding? I think it's a ploy. I think there's something they don't want us to know.
Oh, you think they're bringing Jeffrey Toobin back as a distraction?
Yes.
That's an interesting theory.
Because look at how your radio station, you talked about Biden this morning, and now it's all under the bridge, and let's talk about Toobin because it's more exciting.
Well, hold on.
You find discussion of Jeffrey Toobin's organ to be...
That's not what we're talking about. She thinks she wants us to just talk about Biden. Listen, we're on the air let me respond to what you said, caller. Hold on. You made some charges against us here, and I want to respond. We are on the air live 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, 60 hours a month. I took a brief break from talking about the hard news of the day to play. Well, I'm going to play this after the break. This exchange with Allison Camerata and Toobin on CNN yesterday. And that, sometimes the callers, the audience, it's like a freight train. And, there's a freight train of things that people want to talk about. I played that audio and boom, the phones lit up. It was trying to stop a freight train. It's on people's mind. And it goes to a lot about the credibility of the mainstream media. And I think it's an important topic, especially after they continually call out President Trump on moral lapses that are fake, like the Access Hollywood thing that they still talk about, or what they're doing to Matt Gaetz and others. I think it's a very important topic, and I think it's very relevant.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, yes, it is irrelevant, but right now I see...
Yes, it is relevant or irrelevant? You said irrelevant. All right, listen, thanks for the call. We got to run for the break. There's only one opening on the board, by the way. That's an expression I've gotten from you.
Toobin's organ.
That's not what we're talking about. No, but listen, when we get back, we'll take our break. When we get back, we'll get back to the calls. I'll play the exchange between Allison Camerata and Toobin yesterday on CNN that I started this with at 7. And then we'll get back to the calls. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We will be back with your calls after this break.
My name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
At noon weekdays, turn your radio to Richard Pearl on politics. Unfiltered, unapologetic, always controversial. Richard Pearl.
Make sure you guys like the video, and if you're new here, subscribe, all right?
Radio like it should be. You've known him as a master of nutraceuticals. Now, listen to Richard Pearl as you've never heard him before. Richard Pearl on politics. High noon weekdays on this radio station. Be there.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid the Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, we are back now. Before I'm going to play the audio here in just a moment. But before I'm going to play the CNN audio. But before that, we got an announcement on the radio station tomorrow. Something's going to be happening that I don't think has happened before with Dr. Janae Lemaski. Yes, Dr. Yeah, well, listen to this. Okay. Well, okay, now, on Saturdays, Dr. Lemaski and Al Knight do a show together that airs on our radio stations from 10 a.m. till noontime on Saturdays. And this week, Al Knight is, I don't know, he's on vacation or something. Dr. Lemaski is taking over the host chair tomorrow and hosting the show on her own, which I don't think she's ever done before. So she's hosting her own radio, hosting the show by herself tomorrow, which I don't think she's ever done, taking calls live on the air on our radio stations, 10 a.m. till noon, Saturday morning. So don't miss that. All right, so let me play this audio, then we'll go back to the phone. So Allison Camerata of CNN reintroduces to CNN's viewers Jeffrey Toobin yesterday in a very bizarre segment. Here it is.
Let's bring in CNN Chief Legal Analyst Jeffrey Toobin to talk about this and more. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello, Allison.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, indeed.
I feel like we should address what's happened in the months since we've seen you, since some of our viewers may not know what has happened. So I guess I'll recap. I'll do the honors.
Help yourself.
Okay. In October, you were on a Zoom call with your colleagues from the New Yorker magazine. Everyone took a break for several minutes, during which time
Everyone
you were
Sarah.
caught masturbating on camera. You were subsequently fired from that job after 27 years of working there, and you since then have been on leave from CNN. Do I have all that right?
You got it all right, sad to say.
Okay, so let's start there.
Okay.
To quote Jay Leno, what the hell were you thinking?
Well, obviously, I wasn't thinking very well or very much, and it was something that was inexplicable to me. I think one point, I wouldn't exactly say in my defense, because nothing is really in my defense. I didn't think I was on the call. I didn't think other people could see me.
You thought that you had turned off your camera?
Correct. I thought that I had turned off the Zoom call. Now, that's not a defense. This was deeply moronic and indefensible, but I mean that is part of that is part of the story. And you know, I have spent the 7 subsequent months, miserable months in my life, I can certainly confess, trying to be a better person. I mean, in therapy, trying to do some public service, working in a food bank, which I...
Oh, man, working in a food... That's just what you want, handling your food in a food bank. Jeffrey Toobin, and working side by side, I guess, with Anthony Weiner. I don't know. Okay, so that was a very strange segment on CNN. We only have one opening on the board at 1-888 Cocaine 1. Yes.
I want to say something here, okay? I'm going to reevaluate my...
Is this an apology to Brian? No, it's okay.
Yeah, we'll see if you will see. Listen to what I have to say, and you'll see if you want to give one. If you don't,
all right, I don't need one. Okay.
All I'm saying is the most important thing in this is not that he did it. It's not that they let him go initially. The real focus, the hook, as we say in the trade, is them being willing to take him back. This is the hook. What does it say about, what is it, CBS?
CNN.
What does it say about CNN as a company that they would dignify him by taking him back, reintroducing him, in essence sending out a message that as far as their company's values go, this is acceptable.
Yeah.
That's the hook. That's the hook.
Which is what I asked at 7. But okay, I agree with you. I agree with you. That's why I asked that same question earlier.
That having been said, if you want to talk about Jeffrey Toobin, I think we should use the hook we should have had to begin with.
That's what I began with what you just said at 7 o'clock. I did begin with all of that. All right, listen, we have every line on the board lit. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So, you want to go to the phones? Okay. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Ed Henry was holed up in a Las Vegas show.
No, that was another scandal. He had a mistress a few years ago with a Las Vegas showgirl that was consensual. But then they brought him back, and they gave last year they promoted Ed Henry, gave him the 10 a.m. show, and he was having an affair with a young producer or intern at Fox last year.
He donated his kidney to his sister, so he was cheered for that.
But hey, listen, Jesse Waters left his wife and kids. He was having an affair with a producer. He was having an affair with his producer. They didn't get rid of him. Why did they get rid of Ed Henry? So was Ed Henry's. Ed Henry's was consensual too, and they got rid of Ed Henry. I guess. All right, take care. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, what's going on? It's Vincent Wellington.
Hey, Wellington.
Pretty crazy though. The CNN clip there. I do appreciate the covering it, because we don't really, as Trumpers, we don't watch CNN. We don't really have a tune in on what they're doing half the time. So it's not like I don't have a problem you covering it, basically,
Well, I appreciate that.
I think it's pretty funny though how God gives us our names when we're born. We think it's our parents, but you got Toobin the way he did, and then you got Wiener doing what he did.
Well, and you know what Bill Clinton? And do you know what Bill Clinton's initials are, caller? His initials? No, BJ. His middle name's Jefferson. Bill Jefferson Clinton, BJ Clinton. Those are his real initials. BJC. Yep. BJ.
That's why I got faith in Trump. God gave him that name, and he's going to Trump out the rest.
That's right. Hey, man, take care up in Wellington. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Yeah, Brian, Steve was saying about you getting offensive before. I think the reason why you're getting offensive is because the day that you talk about this, you're not wearing your bathrobe and you didn't bring your pillow with you on the show.
Well, I wore my bathrobe yesterday. My pillow? No, I didn't bring my pillow. So what's your point? What are you trying to? My pillow? What's your point?
Usually people that wear their bathrobes would do the same thing.
Why do you think? Okay. Why do you think I wore my bathrobe yesterday? I wanted to masturbate in front of people. No, My Pillow is a sponsor of the program. You're aware of that, right? Well, I was dressed underneath it. I wore it so that people watching on YouTube could see the most comfortable bathrobe ever made that they can get for 30% off, a great Father's Day gift with the promo code Kane at checkout. It was part of the promotion.
You called in to get the number to call for the bathroom.
And when I bring my Pillow, it's the same thing. All of the sponsors on this program, either Steve or I use them, or sometimes both. We do personal endorsement commercials. Steve's having his whole house rebuilt by Laporta Contracting. We sleep on My Pillows. I wear the My Pillow bathrobe. We get our cars repaired at Champagne Auto. We buy our tires at Friendly Tire. I got my blood work at Any Lab Test Now in Boca.
You to work? You're not gonna bring it.
Actually, I do. I drive on them. I drive on them every day to work. All the cars of my family are on the.
Take your tire and bring a tire.
Well, I can't take the wheel off my car and show it to people.
What I'm saying, you can bring a tire. What I'm trying to say is, when you dress up like that, you look like you're like a freak.
Like a freak? Oh my! That was a thought. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They're opinionated today. Let's take one more call before the final break, okay? Good morning. Yeah. All right. Okay.
There was one talk about getting good hooks, which is taking a hook involves taking a news story and posing a question about it that incites everybody to call in because they're interested.
Which is what we did all morning. Yes.
Well,
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're talking about the question and the hook.
Go with the hook.
No. Okay. Okay. Listen, let's take one more call before the last break. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. The thing that's crazy about this is this was a marketing goal for CNN. I don't know if it was by accident or if it was intentional, but everybody's talking about it. You know, here's a company that can't break 1 million people on a show every night.
That's not true. I'll give you an example. The View. People talk about The View all the time. We were talking about The View yesterday. The black girl on The View is offended and finds flags disturbing now, American flags. A lot of people talk about The View, but they don't watch it. I haven't watched The View in years, unless they have like a Star Trek actor on. I'll watch it, like, you know. But I've had Toobin on, maybe. But no, like when I play sound clips from The View or CNN, it doesn't mean I was sitting around watching CNN all day. I'll hear about something and I'll go and grab the audio. So no, I don't think it translates into ratings, and it's not. You know, Steve and I know about marketing. I mean, I wore my MyPillow bathrobe to work yesterday to show everybody. So I mean, we understand promotion and marketing, but that was negative publicity because there. Yeah.
Disgusting publicity. My God. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
Really is a revolting story when you stop and think about it. Unless you are perverted. I mean, that's the bottom line. That makes me a little sick to my stomach.
Can't they find another legal analyst? Why him? Why's it got to be Jeffrey Toobin? Hey there. You know what I mean? It's like, couldn't they find somebody else to fit those?
Somebody that can keep it in their pants.
Exactly. Last word, caller, because we got to run.
Well, I just think that's a crazy human interest story.
I agree. You're a wise caller. All right, it's time to check in with William Youngerman with the final gold report of the week. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
We're great. Steve's with me too. I went to you unexpectedly, so yeah.
How are you?
Great, Steve. Thank you. Gold doing very well. Still trading in a range with resistance at $1,900 at the ounce, but we did get up to overnight. We got up to $1,904. Trading in a range overnight from about $1,886 to $1,904 the ounce. Yesterday we saw gold close up $10.20 at $1,898.20. So as I said, still finding resistance at the $1,900 number, although we seem to peak above that from time to time. Silver, I was up 23 cents yesterday, closing at $27.96 the ounce, while platinum was up $2 at $1,147 the ounce. Palladium closed at $2,708. This morning we've got gold down right now at $10.70 at $1,887.50 the ounce, giving us another buying opportunity. Silver up 25 cents this morning at $28.20. Platinum up $3 at $1,150, and palladium up $14 at $27.22. The Bitcoin is around 37,000. Oil still above $70 a barrel. And the 10-year bond trading lower again with the yields around 1.4%. So that's pretty much where we are on this.
And don't forget, a week from Sunday is Father's Day, so you still have an opportunity to either call or stop in, William Youngerman, and find some great Father's Day gifts. There's incredible jewelry, incredible watches that are at very reasonable prices, and also there's a lot of really cool, I like coins and old money, and there's a lot of that there too, and those become like conversation pieces and family heirlooms over there that make great Father's Day gifts. William Youngerman is open weekdays at 10 a.m., located right here in Boca Raton at 150 East Palmetto Park Road, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can call 1-800-327-5010, 800-327-5010, and online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk on Monday. All right, take care. You know what really surprised me more than anything in today's exciting episode of the Steve Kane Show was that one caller thought that I just rolled out of bed so late that I walked in with a pillow and a bathrobe. That he actually thought yesterday that I just walked in like that. That I didn't even take time to get dressed, or what a bizarre.
very relaxed and natural. And
I was dressed underneath it. I was dressed underneath. Probably more dressed than you are some days doing the show from home. You know what I mean? Exactly. Exactly. You know, it's like right here. We have all kinds of things for promotions around here. Like Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting gave me this tile from Mar-a-Lago. You know, that I keep here in the studio. Yeah, I'm keeping this tile. This is, you know, Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting, who's rebuilding Steve's whole home, basically. He has the Mar-a-Lago tiles. I'm holding one in my hand right now, and you can. Yeah. For Mar-a-Lago, it's the same Spanish tile that President Trump and the First Lady sleep under every night at Mar-a-Lago, and Tom Laporta can turn your roof into a Trump roof, and it's amazing. And not everybody has these tiles or access to them. He does. So when you call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting, tell him you want to have a Trump roof. Can you imagine the bragging rights, telling all your friends you've got a Trump roof? Let me give you his number. It's 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602. He's a good guy, and tell him you want a Trump roof. Now let's take some more calls. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, hi. Hi, Steve. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Hi.
This is Sandra from Boca.
Hey, Sandra.
Hi.
Brian, Sandra or Sandra?
Sandra.
Sandra. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, Brian, I wanted to tell you something.
Uh-oh.
On point by mentioning this whole thing about Toobin. Totally on point to mention it, because it just goes to show you another breakdown. Like when I was a little girl, a guy came into the library and did that. The police came, took his picture, and was never allowed back in the library ever again.
Yeah, you know, I had an incident when I was about 7 years old. My mother and I were at the toy store, and we left the toy store and we got into the car. And I was about 7, and a guy, and it was light out. It was the daytime. A guy got right in the front of the car and took it out, and he got arrested too.
Relative to this, back in the days, I don't know if we were together at that point, Brian, or not, but back in the days of FTL, which means it was right before I went to New York, Nick Lawrence got a guest on my show, and it was a woman, an attractive lady, who was a flasher, and I learned it was a fascinating experience. Because people would walk by the studio, and she had a sweater on but no bra. And as people would walk by outside the studio, she would, she'd just be talking to them, and out of nowhere, boom, she'd lift up her sweater and flash whoever walked by. And then the important moment. This is where I learned all about flashers. The important moment. The person who she was flashing, who was totally unprepared for this, the expression on their face was what the flashing was all about. It's about doing something outrageous that catches the person you're doing it to unaware.
Oh, that's so different than what these things are.
Different but the same.
You know, like you were talking about your library. This incident that happened with me with this guy when I was 7. I remember like it was yesterday, and you know, that's different. Well, you were an adult, and that was
Actually,
well, Jeffrey Toobin's an adult.
All right.
So that makes it even more.
What Toobin did was a sexual assault. What you did was a radio stunt, Steve. I think you knew the camera was on. I absolutely do. You know, you're talking about a radio. Steve, you're talking about a radio. And by the way, it's different with a woman that's showing her breast than a man that nobody wants to see naked in a business meeting whipping it out.
Grant you there are differences.
But listen, we gotta move along. But I wish you would have called earlier, caller, because you're right on point, and you're a survivor, and hopefully we brought awareness to that. It's time to check in with Richard Pearl, whose show is on our radio stations weekdays at noon. Richard Pearl from Simply Natural. Good morning. Wow. Wow. I'll definitely take a look at that. Now listen, Richard Pearl's show, Richard Pearl on Politics, is on our radio stations weekdays at noon. And on the weekends is his health show, same time, weekends at noon on the same radio stations. And that show's called Pearls of Health, and he talks about all of his great nutraceuticals and things that he has available at Simply Natural. Listen, Richard Pearl's store, it's a great store. I use a lot of the supplements from there, as does Steve Kane. He's located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University. The number 954-741-4045. Open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. Have a great show today and a great weekend, Richard. Okay. Okay, that's it, noon. All right, take care. Have a great show, and again, a great weekend. And we may have to make a change next week, Steve. The show may have to begin when Jim from Kentucky wakes up, because nothing matters that happens if Jim from Kentucky isn't up and listening, we learned on today's show. Yeah. So I'll have to wait till I get a phone call from Jim that says, I'm up in Kentucky, and then show starts. That's when the world starts. Oh, my goodness. What an arrogant person.
Just kidding around.
I even take offense. Steve will tell you. I take offense at compliments oftentimes, don't I? I'm very sensitive. But we'll be. You want to sign us off?
Well, might as well. Long weekend ahead. Might as well get it started. We will be back, however, though, on Monday, starting at 6 a.m. Until then, on behalf of Tyler Kane, our technical director, Brian Craig, our line producer here at the Steve Kane Show, and I'm yours truly, Steve Kane. Till Monday, God bless America.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
All right, guys. Hey, listen. Thank you, Sarah, by the way, for that super chat. Everyone, if you haven't, thanks, Sarah. Make sure you're subscribed, and everybody, before you go, like the video. Liking the video helps a lot, and I know I ask you guys to do that because the reason I ask you to like the video is the way the YouTube algorithm works. The likes help get the video recommended to other like-minded people. That you know what I mean. So that really helps me out a lot. I appreciate that. All right, guys, take care. I got to run, but have a great weekend, and I'll see you over the weekend. I got some stuff coming up over the weekend here, so look out for that. All right.